Hello students, welcome to the YouTube channel of Konar Classes. Today we are going to discuss the derivation of the formula NPR in permutations. In the previous session I told that NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. In the previous session also I told that I will derive, but that session was getting longer, so I kept it separate, and today in this session we are going to discuss. So how come NPR is equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial, that we are going to discuss. This is under what condition? Condition is that n objects are distinct. N objects are distinct. Okay. This means all these n objects alag alag, different, okay, and out of this r objects are taken without repetition, without repetition, okay. That means the moment you take one object, you cannot again use the same object for the same arrangement. That is not possible. Under this condition, the formula is that NPR is equal to factorial n by factorial n minus r, where r is from 0 less than equal to r less than equal to n. And we are going to derive this formula. See, when we get that n distinct objects, and out of that r objects we are going to take, so let's make placeholder for all these r objects, okay. So these are the r objects, so this is for the placeholder for the first object, this is for the second one, this is for the third one, and in that way it will continue, and then finally we get the rth place. So this is the first place, okay, this is the second place, this is the third place, and in that way it will continue. This is the rth place. Now let's think, dear students, that the first place, in how many ways it can be filled up, okay. There are n objects, okay, r objects are taken, in how many ways it can be done? That can be filled up in different ways, right? So this can be filled in different ways, correct? Now once this is filled in n different ways, then this one can be filled in how many ways? N minus 1 ways, correct? Then once it is done, then the third place can be filled in n minus 2 ways, correct or not? Understood? Suppose we discussed one problem in the last session, that this place can be filled in any of these n objects. Once this place is filled by any of these n objects, then we are left with n minus 1 objects. With that n minus 1 objects, we can fill the second place. Once we take, so now here comes the principle of multiplication. For each of these n objects in the first place, we are getting n minus objects in the second place. So n into n minus 1, and in that way we continue n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, correct? In that way, if we proceed, then what we left with, the rth place can be done with n minus r plus 1 ways, okay, n minus r minus 1 ways. You see here, when it is first place, that is equal to n minus 0. Second place, it is n minus 1, that is 2 minus 1. Third place, it is n minus 3 minus 1, that is n minus 2. So when it is the rth place, it should be n minus r minus 1. So these are the possible, if we multiply all these numbers, this is the number of arrangements. So what is that? So what we get, that notation, what we get is that NPR, that we get is equal to let me write it properly. So what we get, NPR is equal to n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, and in that way it continue till n minus r plus 1, correct? Now what we are going to do is that we are going to multiply both numerator and denominator by a quantity. Let me write it down. N into n minus 1 into n minus 2. In that way it continues to n minus r plus 1. After that we are multiplying it with n minus r, n minus r minus 1, n minus r minus 2, in that way till continuing up to 1. Now if you see, from n minus r till 1 we multiplied in the numerator, so the same quantity we should write into the denominator so that it will cancel and keep the same value. Should we write it here? N minus r into n minus r minus 1, n minus r minus 2, and continue till 1. Now let us look very carefully. What is the numerator term? N into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into, in that way it continue till 1. That is nothing but factorial n, correct? So what we can write? We can write this is equal to n factorial divided by, what you see, n minus r minus 1, n minus r minus 2, dot 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 up to 1. That means this is nothing but factorial n minus r. So what we get? This is equal to n minus r factorial. So dear students, we derive the formula of NPR is equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial. Now here is a small catch. What is the catch? You know that when you derive this formula for NPR, what are the possible values of r? The possible values of r is 0, less than r, less than equal to n, isn't it? Because r has to be greater than 0, means it has to be at least one element, one object actually, at least one object it has to be. So that is why 0, less than r, less than equal to n. But what is our formula? Our formula says NPR is equal to factorial n by factorial n minus r, where 0 less than equal to r, less than equal to n. So what about the derivation we have done here? Here we actually didn't include the case of r equal to 0. But what is the meaning of r equal to 0? The meaning of r equal to 0 means that out of those n distinct objects you are not taking anything. Then how many arrangements are possible? Only one. Whatever you have, it is there, the n objects, that is there. You are not taking anything. Only one arrangement possible. So that means what we can say is that NP0, that is equal to 1. And what is this 1? We can write is that n factorial divided by, we can write is that n minus 0 factorial, correct? So we see that NPR equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial when 0 less than r less than equal to n. And when r equal to 0, then also we are able to express NP0 is equal to n factorial by n minus 0 factorial, correct? So if we combine these two, that means this is 1. So if I write it here, that NPR is equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial when 0 less than r less than equal to n. And when we get NP0 is equal to 1, that is equal to n factorial by n minus 0 factorial. Now we can combine these two. And if we can combine these two, dear students, so what we are going to get is that NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, where 0 less than equal to r less than equal to n. And we are able to prove that derivation. Now in the one of our previous session, you can look into those lectures, that whenever we derive that value of NPR, that was the expression. Okay, let me use a different color. So that was the expression for NPR, correct? Now that was a little cumbersome expression, difficult to remember. But the same expression we are remembering here something like this n factorial by n minus r factorial. That is very easy to remember, and that's why it gives a concept of the factorial. Without the factorial notation, we could not have expressed that NPR in this simplistic form. Correct? So that is the significance of having that factorial notation. So now, dear students, so we are able to derive that, okay, when n objects are distinct, and out of these n objects, out of this, r objects are taken without repetition. Now, let us consider the case of repetition. Okay. So let me rub it off and let's see that how we can derive that one. Okay. So here we can write is that with repetition. From without, that out we have made it out. Okay. So now what is the situation here? That n objects are there, all are distinct. Okay. From those distinct objects we are taking r objects, but those r objects, when you are taking that arrangement, then repetition is allowed. Before deriving, let me give you an example. Suppose let's take the word rose. I have used these words many times in my previous explanation. Now suppose a repetition allowed. So you are going to take all these 4 letters, all the 4 letters are distinct, and using all these 4 letters you are going to make arrangements where repetition allowed. What you will do? If you see, if we make a placeholder, so what happened is that this first place, this is the first place, no? First place you can fill with any of these 4, correct? Either R or O or S or E, fine. So it can be done in 4 ways. Now then for each of these 4 ways, the second place can also be done in 4 ways because repetition allowed. So that means 4 into 4. For each of these 4 into 4 ways of filling up the first place and second place, the third place can also be filled in 4 ways, so into 4. And in the similar manner, the fourth place can also be done in the 4 ways, so into 4. So that is equal to 4 to the power 4 is the required number of ways you can possible arrangements. These are the possible arrangements when all the 4 letters of the word rose is taken with repetition. Now let's take another example. Okay, when we take that example and after going for the derivation, it becomes easier. So the second one, what we are going to take is that, suppose we take a word called number. Okay, N-U-M-B-E-R. Here also all the letters of the words are distinct, correct? Now what you are going to take? You are going to take not all these 6, there are 6 letters. You are going to take only 3 letters. 3 letters you are going to take. Okay, and when you take these 3 letters and make that arrangements, you consider repetition allowed. That means what? That means is that you make a placeholder for these 3. Okay, this is first, this is second and third. See, the first place can be filled in any of these 6 letters. So that means it is 6. Out of this is done. Then when you are going for the second place, in the second place, in how many ways you can fill it up? Then also 6, because repetition allowed, no? So 6 into 6. For each of these 6 into 6 ways of filling up that first and second place, the third place can be filled in how many ways? The 6 ways, because repetition allowed. So it is 6 to the power 3. So dear students, you see a pattern. In the previous case, when there are 4 letters, okay, and all the 4 letters are, you can consider, then the number is 4 to the power 4. Here there are 6 letters, and out of that 6 letters you are taking only 3 letters and repetition allowed, it is 6 to the power 3. Then obviously, if there are n objects, they are distinct, and out of these r objects are taken with repetition, the formula should be n power r. But how we are going to get it n power r? Let's look at it. Okay. So for that, Dear students, so let's make a placeholder for all these R objects. Okay, so this is for the first one, this is second one, this is third one, and in that way it will continue, and this is the rth one, correct? So this is the first. In how many ways the first can be filled up? R ways. For each of these R ways, the second place can be filled in how many ways? R ways. So R into R. For each of these R into R ways of filling up the first and second place, the third place can be filled in how many ways? Into the R ways. So it will continue. And how many such places are there? Rth, correct? This is the rth place. So in that way it will continue, and it will come to, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. Okay, so the first place, in the first place, in how many ways the first place can be filled up? N ways, correct? Because there are n objects, I can take any of these n. Now out of these n objects, in how many ways we can take the second objects? Second objects can also be done in n ways because repetition allowed. Now out of this taking n into n objects of the first and second, in how many ways the third objects can be taken? That is n ways, n into n into n. And in that way it will continue, and it will continue till what? Till up to the rth place. So n into n up to n rth time. So that becomes what? N to the power r. Now these are the derivation. Okay, now let us take some practical way of remembering this n to the power r stuff, where repetition allowed. I described this one in the previous session, but here I also, let me tell you once more so that it will be very helpful if you can memorize well. Suppose your father gave you 7 envelopes. So how many envelopes? There are 7 envelopes. Seven letters, okay, and he told you that, okay, that on the way to your school, okay, drop this letter in the letter boxes. How many letter boxes is there? When you see that, when you from your home to school, you find there are 5 letter boxes. So 5 letter boxes. So you are free to drop any number of letter in any letter boxes. Okay, there is no such restriction. Now the question is that how many different ways, how many different arrangements you can make to deposit these 7 letters into the 5 letter boxes. Okay, so how to do this thing? So there is a easy way to remember. So how a letter box looks like? A letter box looks like something like this. I am not that great in drawing, but a letter box is something like this, and there is a small passage here, and you can put letter, right? You can just slide the letter in that way, correct? So this is a typical one. So when you keep letter into the letter box, so letter box is in the bottom, and you keep the letter something like this. So how many letter boxes? So there are 5 letter boxes. And how many letters? There are 7 letters, because letter boxes is in the bottom, no? As I was telling, and letter is in the top. So you keep that 7 letters into the top, that is the power, and 5 letter boxes in the 5, that is 5 to the power 7, correct? Now it is easy to remember. Similar one can be applied with another one. Suppose you have 5 fingers, okay, and there are 4 rings. Okay, Anguthiya, okay. So in how many ways you can place those 4 rings into the 5 fingers? So how a fingers looks like? A fingers looks like something like this, correct? A finger looks like something like this. And how a rings looks like? Ring is something like this. So when you keep that ring into the finger, always your finger is in the bottom and ring is in the top, right? This is the way you keep. So then how many fingers? 5 fingers. And how many rings? 4 rings. So 5 to the power 4. These are the different ways you can keep these 4 rings into the 5 fingers. Easy way to remember. Okay, dear students, so we get a very clear idea of derivation about the n objects are distinct, and out of this r objects are taken with repetition. Okay. Now there is another case, so that is that n objects not all are distinct. Okay. Now if n objects not all are distinct, then how to derive? Okay, and what are the kind of this thing? Let us understand with an example, and after that we will derive, if possible in this session or maybe otherwise into the next session. Okay. So let's look into this the case here. Okay, let me change the statement here a little bit, that r objects not all are distinct. Let me write it down. Okay, n objects n objects not all are distinct. Okay, if they are not distinct, then what type of it is? Suppose that P1 objects, okay, are of first kind. Okay, then P2 objects are of second kind. P3 objects are of third kind, and in that way it can go till Pk objects, okay, are of kth kind. Okay, and if apart from P1, P2, P3 up to Pk, if any other objects remains, those are all distinct. Okay, let us understand by means of an example. Okay, so what is that? So let's take a word called institute, I-N-S-T-I-T-U-T-E. So how many letters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means what? In objects not all are distinct. Why? Because you see I is there here, here and here, here and here. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I is there 2 times in these 2 places. T is there in 3 places. Okay, I is there in this place and this place, and T is there in this place and this place. And apart, that means as if that out of these 9 objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 objects not all are distinct. So I am just making this, whatever the theoretical description I have written, I am just going to write by means of this example, so that you can feel it very easy when applying this formula. So 9 objects not all are distinct. Okay, so इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब होता है कि that I, how many eyes are there? There are 2 eyes are there. That is, 2 objects are of I kind, you can say. 2 objects are of I kind means I, we can say. Then 3 objects, okay, are of T. Apart from these 2 and 3, that is 5, there are 4 other objects are there. N, S, U and E all are distinct because it came only once. Rest are distinct. Rest are distinct. Fine. In this case also, when you see that P1 objects are of first kind, P2 objects are of second kind, P3 objects are of third kind, and Pk objects are of kth kind, and rest could be distinct. Rest are distinct. It may possible that after adding P1, P2, P3 up to Pk, it got n. It is sufficient. There is no other objects which are left, which are distinct. It's possible. That means what? It may possible that P1 plus P2 plus P3 up to Pk, that is less than equal to n. It can be either less than n. If it is less than n, then what are the remaining objects that has to be distinct, which is the case here. Okay, like n, s, u, e, they are all distinct, correct? And it may possible that P1 plus P2 plus P3 up to Pk become exactly same. Okay. For example, hypothetically we can take one word, what is something like this, like we can say AA, PP, Q, 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 suppose. Hypothetically let's assume. Then what is that is, you know, there are two objects are of A, two objects are of A, two objects are of P, and three objects are of Q. That means there is no other rest are distinct, that opportunity is not there, because if you add 2 plus 2 plus 3, that is 7, it is actually equal to this 7, because there are 7 objects, no? Not all distinct. So now what is the formula for both the cases? If there are distinct objects apart from after P1, P2, P3 up to Pk, if there are distinct objects available or not, formula remains the same. And what is the number of arrangements? The number of arrangements is that n factorial divided by P1 factorial into P2 factorial into P3 factorial. In that way it goes up to Pk factorial. K is the subscript, Pk factorial. These are the possible number of ways, possible number of arrangements when n objects not all are distinct, and P1 objects are of first kind, P2 objects are of second kind, P3 objects are of third kind, and in that way Pk objects are of kth kind, rest are distinct, which is optional. Okay, so this is the formula. So the derivation of this formula I will take into the another session, because otherwise this session will be getting longer. I hope you like this session. You know that I place these videos completely uncut. So sometime when I am explaining, in some places I may made a mistake, and then also I correct it. So that part I do not trim out, because that is quite a normal way of teaching. Okay, so I hope you like this session. Please provide your comments, and we will have our next session very soon. Thank you very much.